To the third point then, right? So we have defined what a resume is. We understand that it's more than just a short story.
Yes.
We understand that the fact that you should think of it as a tool that someone would actually need to
evaluate to get an interview, yeah,
and get an interview.
Yeah.
It's not to get a job. Right? Now, then how do you define whether your resume is effective?
There you go. Of course, the basic things or tips that you get from the internet, so on and so forth, is basically go to your uncle, auntie, uncle, this one okay or not? What do you think? So on and so forth.
So a lot of us would define it as okay, if it looks good. Very simple. If you get the resume, if you get the interview, then it works.
Simple as that.
If you don't, it doesn't.
So basically, it's trial and error altogether.
But it's really not trial and error. I think it's really how the job seeker would first of all understand that, number one, the people who are reading your resume are very busy.
Exactly.
There's been research shown in the US that among the top 500 corporations, right, a resume gets only about 3 to 5 seconds attention at the first level. Right? Meaning that you could assume that the HR person would be the good old days, right? And I'll talk about the new days, right? In today, in the good old days, you have 300 resumes sitting on the table in a pile. The guy comes in, sits down, right? Okay, in out. How did the person decide? Well, obviously there are certain requirements that they're looking for, right? So they just go in, out, and that's it. First cut, right? So if you're lucky, you're in, and then you get shortlisted. Then maybe you get a little bit more attention from the hiring manager. Now in today's world, it's even more scary, right? Because it's people like JobsDB and the other company down the street that basically creates this system, where nowadays if you go to JobStreet or JobsDB or whoever, right, you're applying for a job online, they ask you to fill in a form. So your resume also becomes like a form.
Form of sorts, yeah.
Now, Nes, you might want to ask your nieces and nephews or your cousins or whoever they are. Have you ever thought about why they ask you to fill in a form?
Well, I guess.
Well, of course, basically to get registered, and of course to
just
be monitored.
It's basically the first. What do you call that?
First hurdle.
First hurdle. I mean, like, okay, yes, she's passed the SPM, she's passed the whatever.
She's got A, B's or
exactly.
Yeah. And then if you don't, then bye bye.
Yeah, it's not even done by a person.
Oh my goodness.
Because the whole e-recruitment solution that we people like us push out there is to make companies more effective in filtering. So what they do is that they actually will, based on the fields that you're looking for, the system is going to say you're in or you're out.
I see. So basically, as per the qualifications when you fill in the form.
Exactly. Right. So young people need to understand that when you are looking at applying a job online, please be conscientious about what you do when filling in the form. Don't take it lightly and say, I'm lazy, and then I just attach my resume. Your attachment don't even get read the first time until and unless you've been filtered based on the requirements of that particular job.
I see.
Right? So take your time. Look at the job requirement carefully. Now another tip, do your research. Right? And that's just a problem with a lot of the standard resumes that we have today too, because you can copy and paste so easily, right? So you tend to, all the resumes that we get, right? Sometimes even with experienced people, they all sound the same.
They all sound the same.
Because they copy here, they look at that, and at the end of the day, the whole essence of a resume, which you should look at and say, how do I make this thing come alive?
Right.
Because it's me.
Yes.
Right? In fact, JobsDB and incidentally, we have a very tight relationship with Franklin Covey Association, the 7 Habits people. There's a whole concept right now that we are trying to push about. Next, I'm sure you and definitely you too. I think we all know that the first part of a resume, usually apart from your name and your contact number, the first thing is your career objective, right?
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
Now that part, we're trying to educate job seekers to look at it from a standpoint of a contribution statement, because until and unless we have been working for a long time, we understand that actually nobody will pay you any money unless you can contribute,
Absolutely right.
That part of it is actually the most critical part, and we're trying to educate job seekers, regardless of whether they are experienced or first-time graduates, to really look at. You see, a lot of people the whole job search process is, you know, logically as a human being is looking for a job, right? So when you look for a job, you look outside.
Correct.
Yeah. A lot